Hello, and welcome to our episode Todd Talks. When Todd Talks, people listen. Hopefully, because it's time to death battle. See? Told you I would have props. Had to top what I did with Ash last time. I did not have a Yugi garb, but I still got my cards. I literally call this is my actual deck. This is my deck. And I call it the Magician's Guardian Dragon deck based off how I play and the cards I've gotten over the years. This is OG deck, obviously, and yeah, I'm quite proud of it. You can see the age though; like these have not aged well. Some of them. There's a long story behind Dark Magician Girl, but that's for another time. So, today, I come to you with a smile on my face and joy in my childlike heart. Don't judge me. Because Ash versus Yugi has happened, and it was magnificent. Yes, it was. So, there was a lot of hype going into this episode because, the team was building it up. There was a confusion about, was it 2D? Was it 3D? There was voice acting. Got Jason Page to do the song with Brandon. And it's like, would they deliver? Yes. Yes, they did. And, oh yeah, I won. Ending the year strong. Two back-to-back win streak. Totally take it. Yeah, so what's, oh man, I promise it won't go 52 minutes. I appreciate everyone who endured my last video. I had so much to say. And I will have less to say this time, but the biggest thing for me outside of the battle was that they paid serious tribute to Ash and Yugi in this episode. Not just with, breaking down their journeys and their key character moments and whatever, but highlighting what it meant to be Ash and Yugi themselves. Because as I did in my preview video, Ash had a journey to go from, the brash, willful kid to being the true Pokemon master, one that bonds with every Pokemon he meets, even the ones he does not catch, but catches anyway. Anyway, breathing. And then Yugi and Atem had their own journey of self-discovery, bonding, unification, and then separation because they all had an endpoint to get to. And I appreciated how they focused on that with numerous references to the shows, to the games, to 4Kids Entertainment. I love the boomstick went off on them because if we knew now what we knew then, it was like we'd be railing against 4Kids as well. And yes, I know they only did localization, but it doesn't really matter. And Boomstick being joyous over Ash becoming the Monarch was awesome. While also slipping in the after 3,000 years we're free Power Rangers reference, another nostalgia beat. And just noting the absolute insanity that is the Pokemon world and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters. I think people forget that when you look at attack scores and defense points and such, and how a game can win via life points and not just KOing a monster. But like they said, even a lower tier monster has incredible power. And that's what made Duel Monsters so interesting and allowed for its expansive and insane lore. So I appreciated all of that, and I am not afraid to say, and I mentioned this in the article I wrote about the piece or about the episode already. Always gotta try and help however I can, get more views, right? I totally cried. Yeah, I cried when they got to both the end of Ash and Yugi's rundowns. Because it's in this Pokemon world, the journey continues. Oh, my heart! Oh, it hurt. It hurt in the good way. And then they say they find no better opponent than the King of Games. That was pretty awesome. So that was they did great on the rundowns. The editing was awesome, showing off the monsters and the cards and the special abilities that they could do. It was very, very impressive. Props to the entire team. They brought in extra people, including Moonray. Shout out. You did a great job with the rest of the crew. DJ Tiki, and of course Luis was heading things up. So another excellent one, Luis. And that naturally brings us to the battle. And I really, really appreciate not only this episode going 30 minutes, but having that long battle, which I just realized now I forgot the time. I know when it starts, but I did not know I don't remember when it ended, but it doesn't really matter. They went full tilt, as we hoped. This technically now was the second Army versus Army fight second in the indie area, third overall. Lucky number 3. That's my lucky number. But this was technically an army versus army fight, and I appreciated how they said, like, look, there's no way we could reasonably have a legit battle between them with turns and summons and everything. So it's just like, everyone is here. Like, we're just gonna go for it. And I loved that because it started out as a 4v4 fight, then like everyone is here. It was, they had, we in the Death Battle Discord are still breaking down like still shots of who was there in the fight. For example, if you pause during certain moments where they focus on Ash and Pikachu, you can see Misty, you can see Serena, you can see Team Rocket. Then on the other side, you see, Tristan, Taya, Joey, and Kaiba. I even think I saw the Death Battle crew there with Jocelyn and such. I recognized her hair. Feel free to check that one out just to verify for me. But like, they packed it with the people who would absolutely be there for both sides. Love that they give the multiple shout outs to Serena. Best girl. But yes, I know that some of you feel otherwise, and I'm glad they put in the Poke girl you grew up with thing. That was a nice touch. And then, like, Ash losing one of his Pokemon and then go, well, it's a good thing we brought them all. What do you mean, brought them all? And then the Tauros storm in and all the silhouettes of all the other Pokemon. And there's, like, again, you're gonna be pausing and still shotting to know who was there and who wasn't and who beat who and whatever. And there's some beats that some people screenshotted them just like, oh, that's so awesome, like Oshawott falling for one of Yugi's female monsters because of course Oshawott did, or Gibble just like being in awe. And Time Wizard's there. I do find it hilarious that they mentioned Time Wizard multiple times, but they didn't like have him affect anything or mention like, or they could just turn the Pokemon into eggs, which would have totally been a legit result as shown by a certain episode of Pokemon Journeys. Look it up, you'll see what I mean. But that there was so much going on, and I appreciated how back and forth they made it feel, because when you think about Yugi's monsters, especially the higher tier ones like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, Summon Skull, and of course the God cards, you're like, how can Ash reasonably win this? Or and I had some people, like including in my preview video, legit say that Ash has this because of Solgaleo and the scaling that Pikachu has to Solgaleo and some of the Ultra Beasts. And I knew that wasn't true, but the battle made it clear that there was a chance, especially with Solgaleo showing up, because Solgaleo is a god of the sun, basically. Kind of, sort of. And, he had abilities to easily wipe out some of the lesser monsters. And then you got things like Gigantamax Gengar, who basically has a black hole for a mouth, and Mega Lucario, who we all know is insanely strong. I love the shot of Ash Greninja getting the uppercut on Yami, which then gave way to Yugi. Like, that was easily one of my favorite moments, because remember, in the end of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, Yugi beats Atem. It was always his journey, and then they make it clear in GX and then 5Ds that Yugi, not Atem, Yugi is the greatest duelist ever. And so I love that they said, look, you start with Atem because that's the show, but you end it with Yugi because that's how it went. And that was again, the little touches was just awesome. And then that led to another moment that literally had me thinking maybe Ash could win, when they brought in Herakti, who I knew would show up. They bring in, Dark Magician Girl for Dark Burning Magic. And they do the traditional, okay, Pikachu, it's you and me against, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. It's you and me versus the world, 10 million volt Thunderbolt. And then they show every outfit that Ash has had. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Again, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. But they went so fast. And then to end it with a trap card, of all things, just really highlighted the difference between Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that in Pokemon, it's really all about the monsters, and then you use items if you want. But they correctly know that Ash doesn't use items, because in the anime, they work much differently. Even potions, like when you think about potions in the game, it's just like, boom, health restored. They make it clear in the game, that in the anime, through Brock, that potions heal, but they take a while. And then it can even sting Pokemon just because of how wounds work. It's very realistic in that regard. So I appreciate it. I was like, yeah, Magic Cylinder. They didn't use Mirror Force. That was another thing. Like they teased Mirror Force and then they didn't use it, and then they don't really even talk about it in the rundown, which I thought was a nice touch in its own way. But turning ash to stone was not only a great reference to the first movie, but it absolutely avoided the trauma that was Red versus Ty, with Ty with a Red and Charizard evaporating because of Terra Force. We're still a little scarred about that one, just a little. But that was a great way to do it. And then Ash, in his pose, Pikachu with the hat, and then Yugi giving the thumbs up, saying, thanks for the battle. That was a great touch. And then the rundown was, I think, perfectly handled, especially with how, Herakti was, infinite in the multiverse. Appreciate the commenter from my preview video who noted Dark Side of Dimensions was not only canon, but written by the actual mangaka. So I did not know. I apologize. And other things. So they did really well. This was what we needed. This was the battle we wanted. And I'm happy. I am absolutely happy. Now, where does this rank on my all-time death battle list, or just the indie era? Well, I'm not sure, actually. It's absolutely top tier. I was crying both. I watched it twice in a row. I watched the live stream because I never watched the premieres because of various reasons. But because they delayed it an hour, I had a family thing to go do. So I thought, I'll do the family thing, come back, and the episode will be ready. Like, no, it wasn't. So came back, waited, watched the live stream, chatted with everybody, then went back to the repeat so I could add another view to the mix. And it was beautiful both times. And I'll probably watch it again today because I liked it that much. So, yeah. Now, if you do want to know where it ranks in terms of the indie era, you'll find out soon enough. Because while this is the end of the 2025 season, with our brief tease of 2026, Bleach is coming back. I am going to take this hiatus from... I'll probably do one more Todd Talk to give my score for the indie era. But I'm also going to go to the Outer Haven, which is where I write about Death Battle. theouterhaven.net. And I will be making a ranking of every single indie era death battle. Every single one. All 16 episodes. 4 from last year and 12 for this year. And I'm going to label out where they rank for me, why, and more. And then after that, I have some other lists and editorials that I am going to write about Death Battle just to both show my love for it, show some appreciation for the greatness that Death Battle has given us over the last year and 4 months. 2 months, whatever. October, November, December, so 15 months, 15, 16 months. Because they've done a lot for us, and we did a lot for them. We helped them survive with a Kickstarter, and we're still, showing up in millions, if not more, to watch these amazing episodes. And this is just my way of paying it back and hopefully bringing more attention to them. So the first one will be ranking all the indie era Death Battle episodes, and I've got some fun ones coming up after that. So if you're on the Discord, be on the lookout for me, because I'll be asking your opinions on some of these things. And other times I'll be asking you to help share it around. So please help out if you can. All right, and with that, I'm ending this episode of Todd Talk. What did you think of Ash versus Yugi? Is it one of your favorites of the indie era? Did it live up to your expectations? Did you have a lot of fun watching it? I know I'll be watching it again soon, and I hope you will too. So let's get this to a million as quickly as possible. So, I thank you for watching. If you made it as far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.